This car's so bad.
Lewis, tricky day out there for you. I know you tried the new floor this morning, some pretty experimental setups this afternoon as well. Talk us through your day.
Yeah, pretty much like every Friday for us. Trying lots of different things. Experimental floor on my side, which didn't work. Nothing we do to this car generally seems to work. So we're trying different setups. Me and George went with much different setups in this P2, just to see if one way works and one way doesn't. I'll wait to hear whether or not how it felt for him, but for me it was a disaster. It's like the car is getting worse. Like it's getting more and more unhappy the more we do to it. So I don't know. We keep working on it, and it is what it is. I think this is the car for the year. So we just have to tough it out and work hard on building a better car for next year.
It's a very demanding circuit at the best of times, notoriously bumpy. You've got to ride the curbs here. How hard was that, given the limitations you already have with the car?
Yeah, I mean, it's one touch of the curb and the thing goes flying. You know, it's so stiff. And here you need to be able to use the curbs. So it's very, very tricky. It's not the Montreal that I know, that I'm used to, and that I've experienced in my career. It's the worst that I've ever felt any car here. So I'm hoping overnight we can try and make some changes, but fundamentally it's just the fundamentals of the car it is what it is, and it's going to be a struggle.
So how hard is that then? So you say it's not the Montreal you know. So is it you can't get into the flow, you can't drive it like you're used to driving it? Do you have to relearn how to drive it, or do you just have to accept that this is kind of how it is? And
it's just a monumental fight the whole time to keep it out the wall. It's when it bounces, when the car leaves the ground a lot, and when it lands, it grips up and it goes in either different directions, and so you're just trying to catch a car that jumps, hops, grips, like it's tough. So just keeps you on edge, and there was some big hits today, but we've raised the car and it doesn't make a difference.
On that, how are you feeling physically? Because I know you were a bit beaten up after back.
Yeah, no, I managed to get through the day okay, and I've been having like ice baths and stuff in my back, so I'm okay.
And then in terms of setup, in terms of competitiveness for the weekend, what have you learned from today that you can take through into tomorrow, hopefully gain those improvements, take you to where you need to be? Well,
we've tried loads and loads of things, so we've ticked them all off. Those ones don't work, so we have to go and find something else. And yeah, we're way off, but it's to be expected with this car. So
thanks, man. First day back in Montreal, how was it out there for you?
Yeah, it's fun to drive around this circuit. It's old school, very challenging, bumpy over the curbs, and it's always enjoyable to drive a circuit like this, but ultimately our performance wasn't where we wanted it to be. We're quite a long way off the pace compared to the front two teams, but also there's a couple of guys, Fernando, Sebastian, Bella very strong as well, so we've got work to do.
Obviously, the big talking point coming out of Baku was just how physically demanding you guys found it within Mercedes this year. How bumpy was it out there for you today?
Yeah, it's still very bumpy, to be honest. Just the stiffness of these cars are just brutal. I think in Baku it was a combination of issues between the porpoising, the bottoming, and the stiffness. Here you really feel the stiffness, as we sort of did in Monaco, and it's something we're trying to tackle.
Do you have to drive the circuit at all differently? Can you run the curbs as much as you used to, or are you having to stay off them a bit?
I definitely can't run them as much as we used to. I mean, it's bumping around everywhere around this circuit. We've got the car as soft as we can, but there's something in there that's not allowing us to do that. I know that is a bit of a known thing with these new sort of 18-inch tyres and this new iteration of cars, but clearly we need to make some improvements.
What can you do overnight to try and bring the car back in line with where you need it?
I think, well, in FP2 that was probably the biggest deviation in setup Lewis and I have had all season. We went in two very drastically different directions, and we'll probably be able to find the happy medium between the two. So, we're going to be working hard. We just need to make sure we qualify ahead of the midfield. I think we've got a race car that will put us in that third position spot, third best team position spot. But obviously, if we qualify a little bit out of position, it may be tricky.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.